Splash Beverage Group is innovating and distributing new, natural, and healthy beverages. And with me is the CEO, Robert Nistico, to talk about the company. And let's just start with you. I mean, and your experience, and your board, and your team.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here. Honestly, people are everything. Our board is really a who's who in the beverage space. We have Peter McDonough, who is the President and Chief Innovation Officer for Diageo globally, Candace Crawford, a top 10 executive at Coca-Cola. Myself, my background was Diageo, Republic National, and most notably Red Bull. Ran that company for about 11 years. So we've got a really, really great board, and our executive team, incredible. Bill Meisner, President and CEO of many companies you've heard of, Sparkling Ice, Fuse, Sobe, et cetera. And Aida Aragon, she really did put Muscle Milk on the shelf for the Pepsi transaction. It's a great team.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely familiar with Muscle Milk. She did a good job there because I see it everywhere still. So, and you're publicly traded here at the stock exchange. Yes, so tell me about that and what's it like to be a public company?
Well, you know, it's really exciting actually. And we got to ring the bell here about 6 or 8 weeks ago, which is a great experience. But the access to public capital for growth and expansion and acquisition is really important. So it gives us a really great opportunity to grow the brand and add shareholder value.
Yeah. Now I see that you have some kind of agreement or a deal with NFL star Drew Brees, Purdue grad, as am I. I got to give a shout out there. So tell me about that. What's he going to be doing?
Yeah, you bet. Drew is actually going to be the face of one of our brands, Tap Out. Drew isn't just a pretty face, as people like to say, but he actually has very, very good nutritional compound knowledge. The guy's a brilliant formulist. So we'll be developing brands under the Tap Out name and possibly others in the future with Drew.
Interesting. And then you also have a deal with Budweiser. So is that exclusive or how does that work?
Correct. Yeah. Our small company, we're still small and growing. But yeah, we have a contract with InBev who bought Budweiser. So you can look at us and our abilities. It's through St. Louis and the Bud Network here. It's our go-to distribution network, which is really important to have distribution. That's the single most important in beverage, important aspect of beverage. And then also gives us international abilities, when we're ready to go outside U.S. borders.
Yeah, no, distribution would be absolutely crucial. I mean, without it, how would anybody even know your product exists or buy it? Or what is your strategy with distribution?
Yeah, excellent question. It's the single most important thing. We could have Jane and Robert's tea or vodka or whatever, and nobody cares if it's not on shelf available for sale. So for us, I'll try and keep my answer short. Having the ability to all routes to market through distribution is critical. So we can go through what's called DSD, direct store delivery, which would be Budweiser, Miller, Coors, et cetera. Or we go through broadliners. We can go with KeHE, UNFI, Core-Mark, those sorts of people. So if a retailer says to us, we want product on shelf, we want product on shelf in 7 days, you tell us how you want to get it there, and we'll have it there in 7 days. That's execution.
Okay. So, well, that's key, I am sure. So now tell me a little bit about acquisitions. What do you look for in an acquisition? Have you made any recent acquisitions?
Our first acquisition was actually Copa di Vino. We call it the Shark Tank brand because the founder went on Shark Tank twice and didn't take the money. It's great because it's a mini marketing platform for us because they play those episodes constantly. But we acquired the brand. His name's James. James works for us now. That was our first acquisition. And that brand was critical. It's a really important brand today in today's consumer sentiment. It really was the innovation in single-serve wine in this country. You go to the grocery store today and you'll see tons and tons of wine in cans and bottles and things, right? It was Copa di Vino that started that.
Now, tell me about your brands. Like, do you have multiple brands? I assume that's to kind of cover all kinds of different consumer tastes.
Yes, ma'am. We believe it dilutes risk. Instead of having one single brand, God forbid you have a problem. I'm going to date myself, but if you remember Perrier or Clearly Canadian back in the day, they had problems and they went out of business. That's one thing, but more importantly, financially, it eventually throws off tremendous efficiencies financially. We buy cardboard from the same people, plastic from the same people, and now today, even distribution goes through some of the same people. Years ago, you couldn't do that. You were either broadliners, like I mentioned, or DSD. Today, you can mix all that up. So it's really a very efficient way to go, and the vision for Splash is to have cash events on exit for individual brands for our shareholders. So we build one, sell it, accelerate it, sell it, bring on another, develop another. That's the platform.
Tell me about some of your key brands.
You bet. Tap Out, we mentioned, that Drew Brees is going to help us with. Tap Out's our only non-alcoholic product. We like to say it's a better mousetrap. All 5 electrolytes, all natural, really packed with nutrients. And we did a very good job. The term in the space is called masking the flavor. So it tastes fantastic. It really works. So we're competing against Gatorade, Body Armor, Powerade, and we believe we'll be the 4th leg in that table. And we have the retail support now to execute against that. That's Tap Out. Real quick, we already talked about Copa de Vino. Copa de Vino also came with a secondary brand called Popo Loco, which means crazy octopus in Spanish. It's a sangria, lovely product, but it came with the rights to the only biodegradable can in the United States that we're aware of anyhow. It's an 8-layered paper can. We have the exclusive rights to it. It's a fully sustainable ESG product. In fact, 7-Eleven just authorized the product because of the packaging it came in. So it's very, very exciting. And then our last product is salt naturally flavored tequila. If you have to know about that brand, just think about what flavors have done for rum and vodka and now brown goods over the years. We're the first line of, we believe, the first line of flavored tequilas. We have a berry, a chocolate, a citrus, 100% agave, and 80 proof. So we maintained our actual Mexican real tequila designation. That's the portfolio today.
Interesting. Are you looking at making any more acquisitions?
Currently evaluating targets. There are a plethora of targets out there, especially with our relationships. And I've said publicly many, many times that we're quite keen on growing the brands, our legacy brands organically, but also growing the company through acquisitions. So yes, we're public, so I can't say much, but we are constantly evaluating targets, and there's quite a line of targets out there that we're interested in.
Now, you've made a lot of retail announcements lately. Anything coming there? Where can people find these drinks? What retailers?
Yes, so Tap Out probably has the most traction so far. We're in most Walmarts. We're in some Kroger KMAs, what they call Kroger marketing areas. We just announced Circle K for the entire West Coast of the United States, along with British Petroleum, which is AM/PM, entire West Coast of the United States, all 1,200 stores. We're getting tremendous traction on retail execution for all our brands, actually. Every one of our brands has national and regional availability now as we're building out distribution. It's a very exciting time. It's an inflection point for us.
Now, what are some milestones that you have that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, one will be profitability. We're not giving guidance, so I have to be careful how I address that, but we're keen and laser focused on obtaining profitability. And I can say that it's in the foreseeable future. It's not years off. That's as close as I can get to answering the question, but that's a really important milestone for us, along with continued retail execution. And then maybe an acquisition or two, in the next year or so, we'll see.
And what about the stock price? Do you feel like it's undervalued, overvalued? I don't know too many CEOs that think their stock's overvalued, but
it's overvalued. Sell it.
Do you think Wall Street is recognizing the value there?
Yeah, I think our belief is that the capital markets will eventually catch up to the execution that we're obtaining at Splash. It's outstanding. Best board, best people, best brands. They're all on trend with consumer sentiment, and we're executing against it with distribution and retail. So yeah, the revenues are increasing. We've had record quarter after record quarter. We believe eventually that capital markets will catch up with our share price. Right now, I believe it's grossly undervalued and a good buy.
Anything else you'd like to share with current or potential future shareholders?
No, I'd love to say to our current shareholder base, thank you. We appreciate your support so very much. You bought the company and just keep watching for press releases. We're executing every day. And there's a lot of exciting things coming. And for anybody looking for a good buy, think about beverage brands. And I am not suggesting we're going to go to these numbers. This is not guidance at all, but look at what Celsius did, look what Monster did. We believe that we have an opportunity that will add shareholder value in the future, in the very near future. So
thank you so much, Robert, for coming in.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Splash Beverage.
Yeah,
Great to hear about the company.
Thank you so much.